Now, with all this strife that's going on in Wisconsin, Indiana, New Jersey, and there are indications of more to come in other places, it's probably time to shed a little bit of light on unions as an economic unit. I support freedom of association. I support a person's right to be a member of a labor union, and I support a person's right not to be a member of a labor union. Now, from my point of view, and from many, many Americans' point of view, I believe, the only controversy regarding unions is what they should be permitted and not permitted to do. Now, let's look at a few statistics. According to the Department of Labor, most union members today work for state and local governments and the federal government. Matter of fact, 40% of public employees are unionized. And as such, they represent a powerful political force in elections. Now, if you are a candidate for governor, a candidate for mayor, or city council, you surely want the votes and campaign contributions from public employee unions. That's no problem. The problem arises after you win office and sit down to bargain over pay and working conditions with unions who voted for you. That's a big problem. And matter of fact, Chris Christie, he says unions are talking about the sanctity of collective bargaining. And Mr. Christie said he had no plans to take away collective bargaining rights in New Jersey. But collective bargaining is not the way unions go when they don't get what they want. What they do, if they fail to get what they want through collective bargaining, they go to the legislators who they help put in office, and they get what they cannot get at the bargaining table. So given the relationship between politicians and public employee unions, we should not be surprised that public employee wages and benefits often average 45% higher than their counterparts in the private sector. Often they receive pension and health care benefits to which they make little or no contribution. Now you might say, well, how is it that public employee unions have such a leg up on their private sector brethren? Well, the answer is not rocket science. That is, employers in the private sector have a bottom line. And if they overcompensate their employees, company profits are going to sink. The company might even face bankruptcy. But the kind of bottom line that exists in the private arena, the private sector, that is the bottom line of profits, does not exist in the government sector. Politicians have every reason to grant benefits to their political allies. In this case, public employee unions. They don't pick up the tab. Who picks up the tab? It's unorganized taxpayers who face higher taxes. And Wisconsin's Governor Scott Walker says that stripping workers of collective bargaining rights and limiting bargaining talks to the subject of basic wages is necessary to give the state flexibility to get its finances in order. Now, it's just not Wisconsin. I mean, consider the cushy deal for many of California's unionized state and local police, firemen, and prisoner employees. They have something that's called 3% at 50 that determines their retirement check. Okay, here's how it works. This formula is based on 3% of the average of the 3 highest years of the employee's career, multiplied by the number of years on the job. An employee with 20 years service can retire at age 50 and receive 60% of his salary. Employees often boost their retirement income by putting in a lot of overtime hours during their last 3 years. Now, here's the problem. Many states like California, New York, Illinois, Ohio, and New Jersey, as well as the federal government, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. And large cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., Newark, and Detroit, they're facing bankruptcy as well. This tells us something, and what it should tell you is that we can no longer afford to do what we've done in the past. Cities ought to be able to tell the workers, we'll give you this kind of salary, these are your working conditions, do you want the job or not? Unions now determine working hours, hiring criteria, the quantity of output, the number of sick and vacation days, and how their performance can be evaluated. No longer can an employer make an offer for a job with requirements that fit the needs of the public institution. We must make serious, large cuts in spending.